Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm joined by Jake and I'm joined by Adam, big Arsenal fans. Great to see both of you are here again. We're going to be talking about the game, the West Ham game. We're going to be talking about the next game, the Fulham game. We are also going to be chatting about the Zubamendi, the Odegaard injury, and get your thoughts from the fans. What's your feeling going into the Fulham game? Just drop me your thoughts. Right. First thing, we're going to be talking about the West Ham game, team performance. We're going to recap on that. Arsenal's dominant performance overall. Declan Rice scoring against his old team. Eze took a shot, got saved. Saka reaching his 100th league goal contribution milestone. Zubamendi making a big impact after the coming off the bench. So we're going to go through all that sort of thing at the with my guys, Jake and Adam. First thing I want to ask you, Jake, what stood out for you about that game with West Ham?
I wouldn't say anything sort of stood out. I thought it was a very professional performance. We were very comfortable. West Ham didn't really have many chances at all. I think they only had that header at the end from memory. But I thought we were very, very comfortable. I thought we didn't really get out of second gear. I thought it was a good performance. We should have scored more goals, I think. All round, I think it was a quite straightforward game, to be honest.
Adam, do you think we've had a best all-round performance so far, or do you think again the same? What?
I think it was a good performance. I think the thing that stood out for me at first was the team selection with Odegaard and Eze playing together through the middle. It was funny. I was only talking to the guy next to me in midweek at Olympiacos, and I was saying, "God, Zubamendi's played an awful lot of football," and I was kind of a little bit surprised he had not rotated. But then I was actually surprised to see him rotate for a league game. But it kind of showed that I know we've spoken about it in recent podcasts about the kind of variation we can have, and with Declan Rice sitting in that kind of number 6 role and having Eze and Odegaard, it showed you how attacking we can be to the middle. It didn't last very long, obviously, with Odegaard's injury, but it was quite exciting to see that we could adapt and play one in the number 8 and one in the number 10 role, because we haven't really seen that to this point. And it was quite interesting that it started like that. I was quite. That was the first surprise I had from it. As Jake said, it wasn't a classic kind of hammer and tong performance, loads of chances. It was a lot of ball retention. Waiting to pick out a pass. Although we had some chances, Eze's chance early on that he missed. It felt like it was one of those games that as soon as we broke the deadlock, it was almost like the game was won. The second one made it secure, but I never really felt under threat. I thought West Ham were poor. Nuno's obviously got in there and tried to make them a little bit tighter, but they didn't really offer much. And if you look at the 3 home games we've had in the league so far, it's been that kind of situation. Leeds, Forest, and West Ham haven't really laid a glove on us yet. David Raya's big save came against Olympiacos, and that was where we were most under the cosh. But it was very comfortable, and it's a good sign, because these are the games that we were dropping points in last year, and they suddenly look like we're just ticking them off one by one.
I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought when obviously Odegaard went off, I think that changed the game, to be fair. And I think
we're going to be talking about that.
I think when Zubamendi came on and Rice slotted into that further, more advanced role and freed up Eze a bit more, I think that changed the game, to be honest.
I want to ask people in the chat as well. What was your impression about the game? What stood out for you? Let me know in the comments. What I want to do, I want to talk about the players' ratings. So far, could you guys see this chart? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's Declan Rice, obviously. All right. Who says that up there, Declan Rice? How do you think Declan Rice is doing so far? I know he's been with us for a while. Do you think he's a big intricate part of this team now, Adam?
Yeah, there's been a lot of calls for him to be the captain of the team. I think with Rice, if he has a bad performance, generally it's a 6 or 7 out of 10. You know, I very rarely watch Rice and think, oh my God, he's had an absolute shocker today, or he's completely dominating midfield. A poor, well, say I use the word poor loosely with Declan Rice. A poor performance for him is probably not getting that involved, or, you know, he doesn't create a chance, or, you know, putting a huge tackle. But yeah, he's been outstanding. I think no one questions the cost of his transfer anymore, which is a big say. And you know he's good when other rival fans always have to kind of compare him to their own players. You know, as soon as Caicedo has a great game, he's better than Declan Rice. As soon as Gravenberch has a great game, he's better than Declan Rice. And that for me is a massive sign of how respected he is. That kind of people are rattled by him, and they have to use him as that kind of, you know, comparison. I wouldn't swap him for anyone in that central midfield from his age. I think not only is talent, I think, yeah, the leadership qualities. The fact he can play 2 or 3 different positions if you need him to. I think he's been outstanding. The one thing I'll tell you, I think the last couple of seasons against West Ham, I think it's got to him a little bit. West Ham fans obviously sing about him and they boo him, and I think it's got to him. Like, we've lost to West Ham the last 2 seasons, and it's the first time at the Emirates where I think he's actually kind of just ignored it. Obviously, when he scored, he gave a little bit back. You know.
Oh yeah, he did. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's obviously played really well at their stadium the last couple of years. But the away fans really pelt him, and I think it was the first time he really kind of gave it back to him a little bit with his performance. I think it was the best performance I've seen him at home against West Ham. And yeah, I'd say if he got injured for a period of time, I'd be a lot less confident than I am.
I'm not, Jake. Erdegaard's out. We're going to be talking. I don't want to go too much into Erdegaard, but Erdegaard's out. Do you think that he should be captain? They should pass it on to him, pass the armband over to him.
I think Saka will be captain from now on. He is, obviously, we've spoken about it before. I think Rice is obviously captain material, and it does make sense for him to be captain, but I think Saka will be the captain while Odegaard is out. Going back to Rice, I think he's alongside the defenders. He's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet, but we've got a lot of players like that, like Saka and the 2 defenders, even Timber now. But yeah, I think he could be captain in the future if Odegaard was to ever leave, but then Saka's there, and I think Saka's got a respect for the whole change room as well. So it's just because we've got so many quality players now, and any other team, you'd be like, yeah, Rice is the captain, but with the amount of players we have and the love we have for Saka, I don't think.
Do you agree? Do you agree with that, Adam?
I do, and I think it's, as I said, the leadership qualities of it. I think when you look back for 4 or 5 seasons ago, and some of the captains we had, no disrespect, you know, Lacazette and David Luiz, and going back a little bit further, Koscielny, you know, it's these captains. They wouldn't be in the top 7 captains in this squad, you know, top 7 or 8. You know, you look at, we just mentioned those 3. If Gabriel was captain for a period of time, Saliba was a captain, David Raya, you wouldn't question any of those as captains now. And that was a problem. For a long time, we were kind of floating around going, who is captain quality? And that's why it comes up as a debate with Odegaard now. I don't think it's a slight on Odegaard. It's the fact that so many people think there's so many kind of quality captains there that it becomes a debate. But it also, everything about the team at the moment feels like there's big characters in there. If there's a bad performance, they'll talk it through, and it just feels like there's a really strong spine to the side, and that's why anyone that captains this side, I think, will be respect for. And there's so many good leaders in that team now.
But I'm just having a look at this on here on this chart, his hotspot, where he's been, where he plays, and what he's been doing. I mean, you got, what's that? 81 touches, 1 goal, passes 60. Dribbles 2, you know, aerial draws, he won 2. I don't think, I mean, I'm going to go against, I'm just a host, so I mean, my feeling is like what Thomas Tuchel's just done, giving him the captaincy for England. I personally wouldn't give it to Saka. No disrespect to Saka, love him, whatever he's doing, let him carry on doing. But personally, I will give it to Rice. I think Rice is a leader, so I'm not saying Saka's not. I think Rice has got more of a physical dominant appearance on that pitch, more than Saka. That's my personal opinion. Just saying, just putting it out there. I might be wrong. Everyone in the chat, please let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But I think that they should. I mean, while he's out, they should give it to him. Let him take the reign while he's while Ødegaard's out. I understand
What difference do you see it making though with this team now?
Sorry?
What difference would you say it would make in this team now?
No, it's not. It's not about a difference. It's about doing the right thing. The right thing is again, personally feel that his appearance, his dominance, the way his all-round game. I say, give
Right.
it just gives it's just a non-brainer.
I think now maybe the game 20 years ago when you had that one standout captain, maybe, and it would probably you wouldn't look at Saka now. But I think with the teams now and with most teams, you have like this leadership group where there's 4, 5, 6 players that are all basically captains in their own right. Obviously, they don't have the band on them on their arm or whatever, but it's like if Saka's not playing, I'm sure it'd be Rice or Gabriel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, but you're still saying I don't think, honestly, I think giving Saka the captaincy, it would take something away from him. He needs to just focus on what he's doing. Rice is in the right position, the right place to basically to command and to oversee what's going on in front and behind him. Saka's a forward man. He's a forward thinker. He needs to just go do what he needs to do best, and that is get those crosses in, take on those men, and score. Rice.
That's why I think we've got leaders in all positions. So
yeah, but then that's why then give it to Rice. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. But I mean, again, everyone in the chat or Adam or you guys could disagree. But again, I
disagree. I just think, as Jake's kind of said, I don't think the captaincy is as big a thing as it was 20 years ago. You know, I think when you look back at the Premier League from the 90s and 2000s and you talk about great captains and people talk about, you know, Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, Roy Keane, John Terry, I don't think in 10 years' time we'll look back on this era and talk about great captains. If you look at the kind of teams now, I mean, like, could you name the 20 captains in the Premier League? Like, I would say, like, I could name the 20 captains from 20 years ago from the 20 clubs. I'm not sure about some of the captains now because I don't think they stand out as captains. And I think even some of the bigger teams now, you know, it's not that kind of. You look at City, Chelsea, Liverpool to an extent. I know Van Dijk. You know, it's like, are the captains vocal these days? Are they those big kind of bolshy characters, or are they just kind of respected in the dressing room? And that's what I think. I'm not sure it's the role it used to be. I think Rice is an old school captain, but I think, as you say, Saka leads by example. He's Mr. Arsenal. He's come through the academy, and I think people respect the way he plays, and that's why he makes a good captain. Also,
well, one thing I would say is when you see when the boys come out and they're in their huddle before the game, it is normally Rice talking.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we're overthinking just having the band on the arm.
When you listen to a lot of the young up and coming players, or even some of the guys out there as well, they all talk about Rice. They all talk about how he's there, how he listens, how he helps. You know, how he gives advice, especially with the youngsters. That's just me. I mean, I don't want to go too much into it, but I mean, I'll take everyone's point of view. Love to hear what other people in the chat, what they've got to say.
I don't think there's a wrong answer. This is the difference with this debate. There's not a wrong answer. I think you can make a case for so many players for different reasons. I think there's not a wrong answer. I don't think you are
okay.
wrong.
I would. I mean, like I said, I don't want to go into it, but I'll give it to Gabriel.
I think it's not a problem, which is.
I know it's not. No, I've never said it's not a problem. It ain't. I'm just asking, who would you now that the captain's out, who would you want to give it to? You said Saka. I'm saying Saliba or either or. Anyway, but let's move on from that. I want to ask you, Adam, about Victor Gyökeres.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people at the moment talking about he's going to be the next. Is he going to be the next? What? Do you remember the old Arsenal? What's his name? Bentner. Yeah. Is he going to be a Bentner? I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to try and be a little bit controversial here. When I was watching him against the way he was playing against West Ham, he personally, I think he's trying to do too much. That's one thing I've seen. He's trying so hard. The other thing is that the players around him are taking too many touches. And that's what I was watching. Too many touches in that final third. And he's there. He's open. He's trying his best to find space, trying to move, trying to take on a player, trying to take out a player. But I think that I'm talking from Saka to Odegaard to Zubamendi. If they take too many touches when and that person's open, and they want to, it's like they want to get the perfect goal. Give it to him. I'm just saying, is that down to technical Arteta? Is Arteta not playing him right? Or are they not seeing him, what he's doing? I'm asking you, Adam. What do you think?
I think it was starting to click. I don't think he had his best game on Saturday. I think he worked really hard. I think his work
very
rate,
hard.
Yeah, his work rate was fantastic again. He tried. You're right. He maybe tried a bit too hard at times. He was running down the keeper at times, and he must have covered some ground. I mean, but it was the one thing I'll say about Gyökeres at the moment, it looks a bit rushed. It looks a little bit kind of like he just needs a little bit more composure at the moment. It looks like, because I say, I've seen a lot of his goals for Lisbon, and it felt like he was kind of relaxed. At the moment, it feels like, I think we mentioned it last week, he's coming into a run of games with, West Ham, Fulham, Burnley, Sunderland, where it's almost like you kind of accept when he doesn't score at City, against City, Liverpool, but these are the games you expect him to go and get braces in and get you over the line quickly. And it feels like it shows a little bit on the pressure at the moment, because I don't know if he's hearing the outside noise, but we're all seeing it. Like you said, he's getting compared to Bentner. I've seen the stuff about, who out of him and Sesko is going to end up at Fenerbahce next year for 20 million. Like it's all tongue in cheek, but this is social media these days. I said it last week, if you go 2 games without a goal these days, it's a crisis. I think, against Newcastle, I said last week, he was outstanding. I thought Olympiacos, he was pretty good. It's just when it gets into 4 or 5 games without a goal, then the pressure cranks up, and it just looks like at the moment. You could almost feel with a penalty, like, I don't know what that conversation was with Saka, but it almost felt a bit like, I really need this goal. I think
you say that, I really do apologize for cutting into you like that. But I saw that, and my heart went out for him. I've got to be honest. My heart went out for him. And I believe that, and now, to be honest with you, a captain would have realized that. A captain would have felt that. It's like they did. Do you remember what they did for
Havoc?
For Havoc.
This was different for me.
No,
completely different.
I think because Saka was on the 200th appearance and 100th goal thing. That's the only reason. But I agree. I would have given it to Gyökeres for his confidence.
Would you? I wouldn't have done. I from my point of view, when Havertz had the same situation, we were 3-0 up at Bournemouth with 10 minutes to go. That was the 4th goal. When you're 1-0 up against a team at home. Now, I'm not saying Gyökeres hasn't got a great penalty scoring record, but you agree. I used to take penalties myself. You agree the penalty taker, regardless of what the situation is. Now, if I was a penalty taker and we're 2-0 up with 2 minutes to go and he needs a goal, that's different. But if you're the penalty taker and you've assigned that, then it starts becoming a bit of a let's share the goals round. If he misses that penalty at 1-0 and you've taken your best penalty taker off, you're assigned penalty taker, then you've got to ask questions to me.
Yeah, but sorry?
Wouldn't you say that? I thought Gyökeres was the assigned penalty taker.
I think it's always been Saka. I think it's always been Saka.
No, but I think Saka's had a word with him, and then that's why he's changed it. Because
Gyökeres has only taken one this season, and that was when Saka didn't play. So I don't think he's taken it over from Saka.
See, when Arteta come out and say that Gyökeres was,
I think it was when Saka wasn't playing.
Because Saka came out after the game and said, "Oh, we're going to keep that chat internal."
Right. I mean, it's a different story if it was decided beforehand. But if Saka's the assigned penalty taker, then I think at 1-0 you can't muck about with it. I remember years ago when we did it. When we did it against City, when Pires and Henry tried to do that kind of little intricate like 1-2, and we got criticised heavily for it because it was disrespectful. I'm not saying this would have been disrespectful, but I think if Saka had given it up and it felt like it was a bit of a favour to get some confidence and he'd missed it, then it could have been even more detrimental to his confidence.
But be honest with you, that's hypothetical.
No,
he knows that. He knows Gyökeres is a very good penalty taker, just as good as him.
But not in great confidence.
If I was a captain, and I know right now my teammate, his confidence down at the moment because of scoring. Now I know, all right, my 100th goal's coming. I don't have to worry about that because I'm going to get my 100th goal. I'll get that. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to try and help my teammate. And even if he misses, I'm still going to put my arms around him.
Pat, it's 1-0, Pat. You just said it yourself. He's low on confidence. You're going to hand the penalty over somewhere low on confidence when you're 1-0 in the game.
But then I think this is completely different. I think Gyökeres was the penalty taker. Saka's had a word saying, it's my 200th appearance, let me take it. Because they had a chat.
He's that egotistical. I don't see him being that egotistical, personally.
No, I think because it's like sometimes he gives it to Odegaard. Do you know what I mean? Or I think they're not.
That needs to be said that personally,
because that's the only reason I said that is because he come out of that game and they said someone must have asked Saka about the penalty and he said, "Oh, I'll keep these discussions internally."
Yeah,
so that's the only reason I think Gyökeres was probably down to take it. They've had that little chat before he took it.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, congratulations to Saka for that 100th milestone. That is absolutely amazing, brilliant. But
I want to say on Gyökeres, I think he's going to be playing teams where teams will be just sitting back every game, and I think it wasn't the best performance against West Ham, but he does allow other players to come in the ball like that. Eze run from Zubamendi's pass, he can only make that run because Gyökeres dragged all those other players over. I would say. So I think we'll see a lot of hopefully the wingers getting a few more goals than they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, again, 28 touches, 11 passes, 1 dribble. Jeez. Okay. 1 dribble. All right. And aerial duels, he won 6 of them, shots twice. I just feel, honestly, I don't know. I mean, as a captain, I still would have said, do you know something? You take it. You take it. That can bring your confidence right up. And I know you might say hypothetical, yeah, what if he missed it? Hypothetical, what if he had scored? You know, I mean, we've seen him take penalties before.
I think he'll take the next one.
And I think he's done really well with it. So I don't know. I just feel that he needs help, and he needs it from the manager very quickly. That manager has to put his hands around him and say, look, it's gonna come, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna say to the players as well, look, stop, not too many touches. Get the ball straight to them. It's like when you watch Liverpool. Liverpool take about 2-3 touches and they're down and they're right in your box. Or they're going to take.
Are you guys that worried yet? I'm not too worried.
I'm
not worried yet.
No.
Maybe after these 5, 6 games.
The thing about it, it's not a point if you're worried about it. He's not worried about what you're thinking. It's about what he thinks. And it's about getting him confidence. And that's a fact. It's a fact. I mean, you're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. But it's him. And it's the longer it goes on, the more it's going to stay on your head.
Do you think, Pat, because I'll ask you the question. So I know you're the host, but I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think scoring that penalty would have completely changed his confidence? Because I don't.
I think it would have done a hell of a lot for his confidence. Okay, I think it would have done so much for his confidence that day. I really, really do.
I think he's growing every week and learning about the league every week, playing these different teams. Like he wasn't playing these sort of teams in the Portuguese league. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I think he played really well against Newcastle. Yeah, he didn't get much of a sniff out of West Ham, but he's learning the league. He was impressive with the amount of duels he won, I would say. He's not going to win everything. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the penalty. Yeah. I'm on the fence with it. I understand why Saka took it. If Gyökeres was the penalty taker and they've had a word, then it is what it is. As long as they've done it and we've scored, then I don't really care. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I know everyone's not worried for his confidence. Yeah, it might have done him a bit of good numbers wise, just looking at the numbers at the end of the day. But I think this is where he's going to find out now. We've got a nice little run now of games against the lesser teams, shall we say? So. Hopefully, week on week, I think he is improving and learning his trade in the Premier League. So I think the goals will come.
Okay. What about? All right, I'm going to ask. Let's talk about Zubimendi. Obviously, 80 touches, 72 passes, no dribbles. Has he got a problem? Can he not dribble? See, that's a big. Do you know what I mean?
I need
to. 5 tackles. And 5 aerial duels. I mean, if you again looking at his chart. I mean, again, where he is and what he's doing. When he came on, he changed the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, what did you think about that? As soon as he came on, because what I saw, just a quick one, I saw Zubamendi sitting back, and then because obviously when Zubamendi weren't playing, Wright was sitting back, and it was and everything else. Now Zubamendi came on, Wright had that freedom moving forward a bit more. What did you say about that, Jake?
Yeah, so when we looked at the team sheet, I didn't think with Eze and Odegaard, I just didn't think the balance would be quite right. And I think that first half an hour, it showed what Zubamendi does for us. I know it's only been a few games that we've had him here. But yeah, it changed the game as soon as he comes on. He's just in control. As soon as he gets it back from the defenders or the fullbacks, he turns, plays lovely passes in, always to feet, rarely misses a pass. Obviously, he set up the first goal, slotting it through to Eze with simple. But it looks like it's never going to get there, and it's just pin perfect, the pass all the time. So, yeah, I think Zubamendi and Rice in that midfield, I don't really want to mess about with that too much more. I'd rather keep them two in there and mix it between Odegaard and Eze as the further attacker. And I think Rice can do a job as number 6, don't get me wrong, but over the last couple of weeks, I would prefer Zubamendi there. And that Rice free up to do that number 8 role, box to box. But yeah, he really impressed me again as soon as he came on, just keeping things simple. It's just, I think he's like a perfect Arsenal player for us. Keeps things simple, gets us going, always forward. So yeah, very impressive performance again.
What's your take on it, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's as good as him, but he reminds me of Busquets at Barcelona. You know, he sits at the base of that defence. He doesn't get the plaudits that Xavi and Iniesta did in the same way that he doesn't get the plaudits probably that Rice, Eze, Saka do at Arsenal. But he just showed there. I mean, he didn't start the game and he's got 80 touches. When you look at Gyökeres at 28 touches and he started the game, it shows you that everything goes through him. You know, every ball that comes in from the centre back goes to him. Every time that one of the wingers gets it kind of stuck, they go back to Zubamendi. And what I like about him, it's not, you know, I love Gilberto Silva, but sometimes my only criticism of Gilberto was most of the passes were 4 or 5 yards. You know, he kept things ticking over. Zubamendi does those 4 or 5 yard passes, but as Jake said, he can mix it in with a little ball over the top, a little like incisive one through, and that's what reminds me of Busquets. Like he sits there. He tidies up when he breaks up play, and then when he gets the ball, he just everything he does is classy. He's a classic Spanish holder midfielder, and I think again you look at the fee we paid for him, and he's been a fantastic addition to the point where we don't even really kind of think about Thomas Partey being in the side anymore.
He seems to win a lot of headers as well for his size. He seems to like just jump exact right time, and yeah, I've been really impressed with him, to be fair.
Do you think that he should start regularly, regardless if Odegaard's there or not?
I think you've got to start Zubamendi and Rice now. I think that just the balance was right, and then pick between as I said, the number 10, whether it's Eze or Odegaard. Not number 10, but you know what I mean, that more further advanced one, I think. Yeah, Zubamendi and Rice give us more security, I would say. I know it was only half an hour with Eze and Odegaard, so we can't really judge on that much, but I think you've got to be starting Zubamendi and Rice, I'd say.
Adam, I just want to talk a little bit more about Saka's milestone, because I don't think it's gonna get the recognition that it deserves. To be honest with you, so I want you to just elaborate a little bit more on this milestone, on this young man, what he's done, and do you think he's getting the recognition that he deserves, not only from football fans or from Arsenal fans, but from other fans around the world, or even the Premier League? And is he getting enough recognition from these pundits for what he's doing?
No, I don't think he is, and the reason why I say that is that 4 or 5 weeks ago there was debate about whether Madueke should be starting over him, and I'm not saying it was universal debate, but it's almost like people forget when Saka's out for 3 or 4 games, people forget what he does. It's like at times last year, people said rightly he was the second best right winger behind Salah in the league. And it's like when he has an injury for 3 games, and there's all this thing about him limping off, and he goes 1 game without him, it's like people will say how overrated he is. But I said this in the summer, I said, whoever we sign, whenever we are in a tight game, who's the one player I think will get us out of jail? It's him. You know, who's the person, if you play a ball into someone, can he shift it a yard and can he get a shot away? Can he score a goal out of nothing? And he's the player that he's the one that, regardless of how well other players are playing, I always think he will do something. You know, like even last year, you know, Real Madrid away, you know, like it's just big goals at big times, and he's just that kind of player. He doesn't get the recognition because he's done it so consistently. I think, you know, under all the stick about how much we've become a set piece team, people forget that he's one of the set pieces. Now there's 20 teams in the Premier League taking set pieces every week. He's the one that's creating the goals every week, but no one gives him the credit for it. It's just Arsenal, a boring set piece team, but he's putting on the money every week. Now, if players at other clubs were doing this every week and finding their centre back in the air every single week, they'd be going, "Wow, what delivery!" But for us, it's like it just gets swallowed up in the kind of the boring narrative of Arsenal being a set piece team. I think what he does is it's recognised, and he's recognised as a great player. But I don't think it's really recognised outside of Arsenal how consistent he is.
Do you agree, Jake?
So I do feel like he does get his recognition, and obviously, as Arsenal fans, we're going to be a bit biased, but obviously I think he's been England's best player, or he's been named England's best player the last 3 years. So I think other fans must know as well. Obviously, that's not a fan's vote, but I think everyone knows just from his international performances in the World Cup and Euros what quality he does have. But I love him. He's my favourite player since we were winning things way back when. And yeah, he does get slept on a little bit from what he does and what he brings to this team. And 100 goal involvements in 200 games, you can't argue with that. Do you know what I mean?
You really can't. I mean, you say a little bit, I'll say a hell of a lot. But
I think, can I say that? I think, like we were saying about what I was saying about Rice, you know, every week, every time a winger does something, he's better than Saka at another club. And this is what I'm saying, where he gets kind of like belittled, you know, it's like every time Pedro Neto does something, you know, for Chelsea, every 10 games, he's a better winger than Saka. Every time Kudus does something for Spurs, he's a better winger than Saka. And that's my point. I think, don't get me wrong, I know why people do it, but it's almost like he's the one. It's like, as soon as Saka has a game without doing something, like people have to compare him and say he's better than them. Now, maybe that is because they're rattled by him, but I think, as I say, I wouldn't swap him for any right winger. You know, Salah was the only one that outperformed him last year, and Salah's at the age where you wouldn't swap him for Saka. So who in the world would you swap him for on the right wing at the moment? I can't think of anyone personally.
He didn't quite set the bar, is what you're saying, basically. And I think, yeah.
Adam, you going back? You just said a little while back. You know why they're doing it. Why are they doing it?
Because I think, like I said, Arsenal. When Arsenal, the better Arsenal are getting, and the closer we're getting to win this league, the harder you go at players. I say that's why Gyökeres is getting it. I said it's like it's going a bit too well for Arsenal generally, so we have to find a way of getting at Arsenal, and Gyökeres is the scapegoat. Saka, it's like it's same situation. It's like this happens all the time. When we win 8 games in a row, it's like, oh, Saka's limping off again. It becomes a thing of we've got to find something about Arsenal because we can't go at how bad they are anymore. We can't go about how weak they are or how their mentality's gone, or we're not winning big games. So we have to find a way again at Arsenal, and it's Gyökeres because he's not scored for 3 games. It's Saka because all Saka does is dead ball deliveries. I'm not saying he gets a lot of plaudits from the pundits, but I'm saying, if we have a bad game, it's the first kind of stick to beat you with. Like, yeah, Saka's not Salah. That's the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool. And that's what I'm saying. And I think I'll say Saka deals with it unbelievably well. You know, like his mentality is fantastic. As Jake said, you know, he's been England's best player of the year. And then you see stuff about like why is he in their side, and they have to find a way of getting other players in front of him. And you know, and that's why I find it really weird at times with Saka.
It's like these clowns saying now about Tottenham centre backs. Saying, oh, they're the best in the league. It's like, have you watched Gabriel and Saliba for the last 3 years? But they do it every week. So that's why
Jamie O'Hara
talks about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing I just want to say about the West Ham game. Did you see that handball where I think Saka dinked the ball in and it's hit his left hand?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that.
I thought if that was against us, we'd be banged to rights.
So you said it hit? Yeah, but did the ball?
No, the hand movement. Was a bit of that.
He had his hand movement like that.
Oh, right, and VAR didn't even look at that.
They didn't even look at it.
I didn't even know. But okay, look, I'm going to get into the players' rating. Right, I've put the ratings on there already, what I feel, but we can talk about it and say what you guys agree or you disagree, and yeah. So let's just talk about who have I? What's my first lineups? Okay.
Oh, and I like that.
Oh,
Well, all right, guys.
I like
This is mine. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. All right. I'm glad he's got that reaction. I'm glad he's got that. That's the sort of reaction I wanted to see. Do you know what I mean? And or hear. Okay. But my reaction was this, and the reason why I again I gave I'm gonna start with who am I gonna start with? I'm gonna start with I'll start with okay, no, I'm just going to go round it and see. I'm not going to go. I'm just going to do whatever. I'm going to ask you, Adam. All right. So, what you seeing there? Why did you go? Why did you give me that sort of comment? What was that about? I mean,
I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty fair. I know it was Jake. I'll let Jake jump in a minute, but I think it's pretty fair. I thought Trossard was quiet.
I did.
Quiet. I was surprised he got as long as he did. I think
he works hard.
He does. Hard. Trossard for me has always been like this. You know, like there's games where he just disappears, and I think that a lot of time people say about him coming on as that impact sub, and I was a little bit surprised he didn't kind of come off a little bit earlier. I thought I'm not saying he was worse than a 6, but it was one of those like a bit of anonymous 6s.
Do you know why?
Go on.
Because Calafiori was playing right centre mid.
No, Calafiori was playing all over the place.
Incredible.
So that's what I'm saying, but. Everything was coming down the right, so I felt sorry for Trossard a little bit because couldn't really get.
All right, so what would you? So yeah,
I think those ratings are fair. I'll be interested in what you. Obviously, I know Jake was having the Timber loving last week, and our Timber again. I mean, you know what I love about Timber is that as solid for me, there's not a better right back in the league at the moment, but he's become the goal threat all of a sudden. Like,
well, yeah, but Timber's not on this. So I've not marked him down, so
he's hidden behind Declan Rice. Yeah, if you had a number for him there.
All right, let's go. Listen, all right, about Ricey. All right, Ricey. Obviously, Ricey he scored. It was composed for me. Emotional. It was an emotional goal as well, like you said, and he celebrated, but he never celebrated because he was looking backwards at the fans. Like, yeah. Can you see what I've done? You see what I've done? He was looking back at them.
You bastards.
Well, what do you reckon? What do you reckon, Jake?
Yeah, but to be fair, mate, I agree with most of that picture there. I think Rice was quality, as you're probably right in saying. He kept his emotions, kept his head on, and I loved his celebration. Just didn't say anything. Just give him a good looking back, saying what? Say something now. He was getting abused. I felt sorry for him every time he went for a corner. He was getting absolute pelters. But he gets that every week, to be fair, because he's always taking bloody corners over in that corner. All of them I would agree with. I would say Trossard was quiet because I think everything's going down all right with Timber and Saka. So I always feel sorry for our left winger a little bit. Eze, I really want him to get that Premier League goal. I think that's what he's missing a little bit, but he still performed well. But the way West Ham was set up, it was, we didn't really need to get out of second gear. They weren't attacking us or anything, and it was quite hard to break them down at points. But yeah, I agree with that picture, mate. I wouldn't say anything different.
Would you reckon Saliba?
Yeah, Saliba quality again. We just got such good defence. It's just like, I'm just so happy with our defence. To be honest,
I think the thing with the centre backs, there's games at the Emirates. Fulcro came off after about 65 minutes. I almost forgot he'd been playing. It was like Jared Bowen was kind of he was busy. He wasn't Bowen's best game because he didn't have too much supply. But Fulcro came off, and I think you've lost a couple of headers and you've had a couple of touches. I couldn't tell you what else he did, and that's just testament to the centre backs. They just deal with these number 9 so easily at the moment.
I don't want to go too much in depth into this because about the because we're going to talk about that in a bit. So I gave him a 6. The only reason why I gave him a 6 because I mean it wasn't fair on him. He came off a lot early in the game, so we can't really say what. I mean, he was doing well while he was playing, but
any idea how long he's out for?
Sorry.
Any idea how long he's out for? I know the injury, but I didn't know.
I'm guessing mid-November from what they're saying. I don't know. It sounds like it's a little while from this one.
Knee to knee is never great.
Would you say? I mean, I know we shouldn't really rate it, but do you think 6 as it is?
Yeah, I think it'd be unfair to anything. I feel for him because the photo sums it up perfectly. The frustration on his face when he walked off because, like, he just can't. It's so difficult at the moment because it's one step forward, two back with him at the moment. Like every time he comes on, he starts looking lively. Obviously, the man of match performance against Olympiacos, and then it's like he just can't get fit. Last season, he had the same situation. I was saying he's injury prone, but thing is as well, it's not like he's taken a real like horror tackle yet. It's all been quite innocuous kind of tackles, and he's fallen finally.
Injuries as well.
Knee on knee, as you say, it's an accidental one. It's not like, back in the day when you think some of our players, it felt like they were on, when Ramsey was on the end of the one from Shawcross, I think, Jesus, they're targeting him. It's not been like that with Odegaard. It's kind of like, it's just been really unlucky. And I feel for him.
Yeah, the reason why I gave Timber an 8 because he was lively. He earned a penalty. He was always threatening on that side, on that right hand side of the of that side. So and again, Gabriel, I gave him a 7 because there wasn't a lot for them to do.
No,
if I'm honest.
No, he handled it well.
So I gave.
What do you think is going to happen with Ben White now? Because he's not going to get a sniff, I don't think. I think he'll get in the League Cup games and FA Cup games maybe, but I think as a starter, I think Timber's that's nailed on.
Do you know? I don't think he's bothered.
He don't care about football, does he?
He does. Do you know? I've got that feeling.
I think he has to watch the game that way.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't like watching. He has to watch the game on the bench. He's not really a fan of watching football. He likes playing it. So
I don't think he's bothered. I really don't think.
I think the thing with White, and I think where we fall into this trap before, and at the moment we're going, what's happened with Ben White? Arsenal have shown us over the years. Timber gets injured in a couple of weeks. He's out for 6 weeks. Saliba goes off and White every game. It changes that quickly with Arsenal. Sometimes, I agree. White is behind Timber at the moment, but you just never know with us. It's just like the fact that White is a competent centre back and a great right back.
Isn't that a nice problem to have?
Massively.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the depth, but again, do you guys agree with this or?
I do.
He could be player of the season.
Yeah.
For Arsenal, I think. Timber. I think he's that good.
I think it's between those two at the moment. Gabriel and Timber are leading the way as it stands. California's been excellent, but those two are right up there.
Yeah.
Right. Saliba and Calafiori. Sorry, Saliba. Saka and Calafiori. Now I've given Saka an 8. Should have given him a 7 because I've just realised with that penalty. So I'm my bad. I'm going to drop him back to a 7.
Well, respect your captain, mate. All right.
No, yeah, I know, but my captain's supposed to be leading from the front, not from behind. All right, and that's a fact. Anyway, moving on from that, and I gave Calafiori a 7.5. The reason why I gave him a 7.5
at first, yeah,
because the reason why I love the geezer because he's everywhere.
I reckon
Arteta's giving that guy. Listen, you ain't got a position. All right, you just start from the left and do what the fuck you like once the game starts. All right, he was everywhere.
He's got what
about that powerful shot he took?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it hits the post. Absolutely love the geezer.
Well.
That's why I gave him 7.5. In fact, I should give him. I think I should take a half from Saka and give it to him. Give him an 8. What do you reckon?
I think Saka's a little generous, and not because of the penalty. I think he scored the penalty. I don't think it was his best game. I think he was good, but I don't think it was 8 level person. I thought he was fine. I think Saka's still working his way back into it. And I think 8's a little bit generous. But Calafiori, as you said,
milestone moment.
Yeah, if you imagine Nigel Winterburn taking a shot with his right foot from 30 yards 25 years ago, in the centre midfield, it's just the fullback position's completely changed, and he is everywhere. Moment. He's such a nightmare to defend.
Yeah, Calafiori's got that aura about him, and he just sticks his head up and he reminds me of Ginola. How he just struts around the pitch with his fucking long hair, giving it the big one. But
a lot of people
I love it.
Jealous of that geezer with that hair.
When we played a bigger team, When we played a bigger team,
are you jealous of that hairstyle? Can I imagine you with a bit of
something? You guys have got to understand. This is self-conflicted. All right, I shave twice a week. All right, that's my problem.
Yeah,
anyway,
if not, then.
I think with the bigger teams, or maybe latter stages of the Champions League, I don't want him floating about like he is at the minute. But he's just got an aura about him. I think he's really making that left back position his own. And this right centre mid and whatever else he does. I wish that shot went in because it was a hell of a shot with his weaker foot as well.
It was. Zubamendi. All right, I'm going to pass it back over to you, Adam. Zubamendi, mate, when he came on?
He was really good. The only thing I say with him, and I was possibly a bit harsh at the time, he played a few passes off the pitch quite early on when he first came on. So it was almost like he came on, he was already rusty for the first 5-10 minutes. And maybe I'm being ultra harsh, I don't know. But I would go 8 just for that reason. I think his distribution, weirdly, his distribution was better the longer the passes got. The 25, 30-yard little floaty ones are great. Sometimes the kind of 10-yard ones are going in behind players early on. But he was good. Yeah, I'd go 8. For me, again, 9s and 10s are real, top performances in top games. And I thought
Well, go on. I'll let Jake say what he's got to say, then I'll say, go on.
Yeah, I think he's quality. He's got to be starting with Rice, and I think that back 6 then of obviously the back 4 and the 2 Rice and Zubamendi. I don't want that to be changed at all. Really, the attackers going on from that, we can change that. I'm not too worried about that, but I think it's a really nice balance with Zubamendi and Rice in that midfield. I think, but yeah, he came on, changed the game. But players like that, I think you got Adam was saying about, he did have a few sloppy passes as soon as he came on, but I think that's because he's just getting into the game. I think if he started the game, he wouldn't have been doing that. But just quality, just a quality player for, what was he, 55 mil?
Absolutely.
He's absolutely.
I mean, for me, I feel that when he came on, he completely changed the game. The way gave Wright a bit more freedom. Going up front, that's when Wright took his when Declan Rice took his shot, and he's from Eze's shot. Then it was rebound from the goalkeeper, so it was safe from the goalkeeper. Came out and Wright took his shot. Lovely goal, and it changed everything for me. That's why I gave Zubamendi a 9, because to me he was the maestro, the instigator of with us winning that game. But that's my opinion on that. And and what I like about this shot as well, when you see this shot, when you look at the shot, there's characters in all of Arsenal's players. There's all characters. You know what I mean? You got quiet people in players in matches and stuff, and they're not characters, they're just there. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at Saliba, he's a character. When you look at Gabriel, he's a character. Zubamendi's now becoming a character. You've got Victor Gyökeres, a character. You've got Timber, who's a character. But this is me anyway. I think I'm most probably a bias when I say these sort of things. But yeah, it is me. And fuck it. I don't care who thinks I'm biased anyway, to be honest with you.
Fuck it.
What do you think? Okay, I gave him a 6 because it was a bit quiet for him, nothing for him really to do. What do you reckon, Adam?
Yeah, you probably could say the changing room. I think, and got a 6 to be honest.
I wouldn't have gone that far, pal, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, as Jake said, I think West Ham, they didn't show much ambition, did they? Really? So I mean, what he did was fine. It's not a game he'll look back on and go, "Oh, I was top class today." He just did everything he needed to do. Again, looking back at the save at Olympiacos, that's where David Raya is making his money these days. That save was outstanding against them and the performances. But yeah, if our goalkeeper doesn't do anything in any home game this season, then yeah, we're going to win the league, aren't we? So more than happy to see a 6 with nothing to do.
When Ramsdale came out and he said, probably what got him the move, to be honest. He goes, I struggled to concentrate for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for Raya. It's like, because he does pull off some worldy saves and he hasn't done anything for 89 minutes. And then he'll just pull off a worldy save and it's just fair play to him.
I think the most animated I saw him was when we scored.
Yeah.
I know. Right, so I mean, let's just get to a little bit of bad news. Captain's out with the captain's out with a MCL knee injury. He's going to be out for weeks. Is he now becoming a sick note?
It's like what I was saying before. It's like it's all different injuries. It's like obviously the last couple is to do with that shoulder. And to be fair, I didn't think he was going to ever recover from that, the way he kept falling down and injuring it all the time. That was just leaving his leg in a challenge that he probably shouldn't have done, I would say. And yeah, it's just it's just an awkward one. And a knee injury is never a good injury, to be honest. But I think a couple of years ago I'd be really concerned, but because Eze can slot in, or we've got other players that can just slot straight in, so I'm very unfortunate for him because he was just hitting some form. Probably had the game of his life against Olympiacos. So yeah, it's disappointing that he's out when he was coming back to form. But hopefully these couple of weeks international break, and hopefully he'll only miss a couple more weeks or a month tops. But we've got the quality to come in and hopefully do a job while he's out.
Adam?
Yeah, I think the one thing about it is, I feel for him, but it does the midfield kind of picks itself now. As Jake said, a lot of people want him in that number 10 role. And I think with Odegaard out, he will get a run in that number 10 role. I think the left wing's up for grabs a little bit at the moment. Martinelli and Trossard will fight it out. Madueke, when he comes back, will probably, depending when Odegaard's back, whoever's back first will probably play the odd game there. It's really unfortunate, as you said, but like with Eze, it feels like the same qualities coming in, and he's shown for Palace what he can do in that role. And it's less of a worry than it was 12 months ago. So but I feel for him. It's never nice. It must be so frustrating to be kind of 30 minutes every home game, and it's just it's not good.
He did well to play on, because I thought
when
I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, just come off, mate. It's not worth risking it." But then he
went down 3 times.
He did that with his shoulder as well, didn't he? He just kept playing on.
What's you worried?
Desperate to help out.
I think someone needs to come on the bench and just say, "Look, just take him off now."
What's your thoughts, Adam, when you saw this, when he came off with a back injury? But obviously he's playing now. But
I said to the guy next to me, I said, well timed, Declan. You're obviously going to try and miss international friendly.
Yeah,
I was waiting for Saka to do it 2 minutes after. He didn't get the memo.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he's told the England staff it's as bad as I wanted to be a little 10-dayer, but no. Look, as I say, joking aside, Rice he's one of those blokes who he'll play through a bit of pain. Like, once I wasn't too worried when I came off. I think it was precautionary, and I think if Rice kind of broke his back in half, he'd probably try and play. He's that kind of character. So I wasn't too concerned.
Yeah, watching the replays, it just looked like a bit of an impact injury rather than proper injury.
Yeah. Well, look. Again, I want to ask everyone in the chat, what do they think? How confident are you with Odegaard not getting injured on a regular? Are you guys confident? Do you feel that he needs to take a break? Do you feel that we've got enough cover? Are you happy with the depth? That's why I want to ask everyone in the chat. Please let us know. Look, we're going to be moving on to the to the Fulham game. Obviously, just going to do a quick recap on it. Fulham are strong. Fulham are strong at home. Craven Cottage is always a tricky place for Arsenal. Again, you guys let me know if you believe what I'm saying is true. Arsenal unbeaten in the last few games. We've got key players. I was going to say some key players still out. We do. But we still got Rice, we've still got Saka, we've still got Timber. Timber, crucial in for games. So I mean, again, we want to talk about the depth and possible changes. Now that obviously, unfortunately, Odegaard's out. Should Zuberman start the game? What about Trossard? What do you guys feel? I just want to quickly, before we go on to the Fulham thing, what do you guys really feel about Trossard? Are you guys happy he stayed? Do you feel that he still contribute? He still can give something to the Arsenal? Jake?
I think he's proved when he's come on to the field that he can still have an impact. I don't know how you felt last season or the season before. It seems whenever he starts a game or starts to get a run of games, he seems to lose his way a little bit. But obviously I want the best for him. But there's been some games I thought, oh, just start Martinelli just so we can have a run at their right back a little bit more than Trossard does, because Trossard hasn't got electric pace, I'd say, like Martinelli has. So he just offers us something different rather than just coming back and recycling the ball, I'd say. And I did think, because obviously I think Martinelli scored against City and then Trossard started the next game. And then he started the next game after that. I thought they would mix it up a little bit more. So I don't know if Martinelli's carrying something or he just prefers Trossard on the left ahead of Martinelli a little bit now. But yeah, he is. I think he needs a goal, or it's like you can see what he can bring against Port Vale. He's a good finisher when he gets in those positions, but I think he's just struggling to find those positions at the minute. But like I said earlier, everything does come down our right side, so it does limit what the opportunities he does get to impact the game. But I think we've always had that since Saka's been there, so there's no real change, I'd say. But yeah, Fulham's going to be frustrating. I think it was 1-1 last year, or 0-0, wasn't it? They frustrated the life out of us last year. I think they scored early on, didn't they?
I think was it the one where
Jimenez scored early on.
We scored in injury time, but Martinelli was offside in the build-up.
I think.
You remember Saka scored at the back post, and Martinelli was offside in the build-up. We should have been looking along the line.
Yeah,
we've had a mixed record there recently. I mean, just
1-1.
Yeah. It was one where we thought we'd won it 2-1 with the last game.
Yeah.
Adam, who needs a big performance for that game?
Gyökeres probably needs a goal just to get the kind of get that kind of confidence back. I agree. I think Trossard's starting more games than I thought he would. I like Trossard. I've always have, but I'm getting a little surprised on Martinelli's not getting those starts, because as Jake said, where we felt that Trossard was almost out the door at one point, I thought he'd play a real kind of bit part of this season. But he started more games than I thought he would. I mentioned it the week before when Martinelli played in Bilbao, and then he started against City, and I thought, oh, this is a bit of a surprise. And I think the thing with Trossard is he's a really good impact sub. And that's a bit of a surprise. I'd be surprised if he started next week, but if he does, then for me there's certainly something against Martinelli, because Martinelli's not really starting games apart from Port Vale, which is for someone he had such faith in last year. Martinelli, it seems to have disappeared a little bit, and I think, as much as I like Eze going in the midfield, I think the one thing I'd say is that when Eze played on the left and Odegaard was in midfield, it felt like everyone was at that top draw level. And we've gone back to that problem of there was question marks over Martinelli and Trossard. Is our left wing, like Jake said it earlier, everything goes down our right? Is it because we don't have as much faith in our left wing as we do our right? And I think there's a part of that. And that's the only slight concern.
I think the team against Fulham will pick itself, except for that left wing.
Yeah.
That's the only. Eze will start as the 10. And it's going to be Martinelli or Trossard on the left, but I think everyone else is pretty much all sorted, to be honest.
Okay, right. Okay, well, I'm going to ask the fans. I would like to know what your predictions are for the next one, the Fulham game. Let us know what you think the outcome is going to be. Who do you think is going to have to? Who do you want to see give a big performance against Fulham, and let us know what you think the scores are. I just want to say now I just want to say a quick thanks to Jake and thanks to Adam.
Thanks, Pat.
All good, mate. Thank you.
What am I looking for? Well, I'm looking forward to for the Fulham game. I mean, it's going to be a Fulham away. It's going to be a big test. I think so. Do you guys think it's going to be a big test? And if you guys think it's going to be a big test,
I think it's a good time to play him. I do. They started leaking goals the last few weeks. You look at when they played Villa and Bournemouth, they've conceded, a fair few goals. And then with Fulham, I'm worried about Fulham a little bit this season, because, I've always said in this league, and we've shown it the last few seasons, if you don't spend 50 to 100 million, you go backwards in this league. And they haven't really bought anyone this summer. And I think I don't know, it feels like it's gone a little bit stale. And there's always one team that gets dragged into a bit of problems. And I got a feeling it might be them. I'm not suggesting they're going to go down, but I don't know. It just feels like at the moment there's something missing with them, and I think it's a really good time to play them.
It's stale.
Yeah, it just feels like I don't know. There's like the goals have gone out of the team a little bit. They started conceding a little bit, more than they were doing. And I don't know. I just got a feeling it's a really good time to play. I'm not saying I'll probably go and lose this game now. I've given it this big. But I feel like it's the right time to play for them at the moment.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can carry on that winning streak. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Drop your predictions and please follow for the next week show. And I just once again want to say thanks to Adam.
Cheers, Pat.
And thanks to Jake.
Thank you, mate.